Welcome to the Life Atelier podcast. I'm your host, Emma Lavelle, and today's episode is to celebrate launching our Substack, which is going to be called The Alchemist. So, if you are just meeting me for the first time, Alchemy is a practice that I do with my coaching clients, my one-to-one coaching clients, and we also do it inside the Life Atelier coaching studio. And basically, every Friday, we look at where we fucked up, where are the failures, what did we do that didn't work out the way we wanted it to do, and we evaluate them, right? We celebrate the fact that we tried, that we did something, we experimented, we had an idea, and we tried to make it happen. And then we evaluate and we learn. And this is how we improve and we get stronger and we gain resilience and we start to create results in our lives and to change things faster and faster and faster. Now, I have I have fucked up a lot, my friends. And I love this alchemy practice. So when I was thinking about what to call the Substack, I had this idea of like, yeah, the Life Atelier journal, that's nice. And, oh, we could call it Build Your Life Atelier. And then I thought, no, let's really lean into Falchemy. And Falchemy is actually going to be a big part. In fact, I think it's going to be the cornerstone of 3 Day Week Club. 3 Day Week Club is a new part of the coaching platform, which is for people who have their own business, creatives or entrepreneurs. Okay, so we've got different parts of the coaching platform. We've got a space for professionals who want to create life balance, but then also for entrepreneurs. And then a space for the discovering, right? If you're not working or you're between things, you've also got the discovering space. And when I was thinking about the point of 3 Day Week Club, it's not about working 3 days a week and fitting that in and then not working at all. It's about a lifestyle. It's about something we're going to talk about today, having it all. Okay. And so whether you create a 2 day week, because when I was walking retail, I was like, oh my God, maybe we could do like 1 day week club. Oh my God, what would that look like? And then I realized it's not relevant. Okay. Because everybody's version of work and business balance is going to look differently. What will be the same will be this concept of having it all, right? It will be this sense of connection to yourself, to your purpose, to what you're doing. It will be knowing that you are fueled by ambition and joie de vivre, okay? That your ambition is fueled by joie de vivre. That is what we're doing here in the Life Atelier, that you are connected to your energy, your creativity. You wake up feeling excited, right? You wake up feeling like, okay, I get to do that. Like, I get to be me today. I get to be me and I get to live my life. That's so exciting. And that comes from knowing that you are in control, knowing that you are in control, not of the external things, but of how you respond to things, of how you look after yourself and how you take decisions. Okay. So super fun. I kind of jumped there. I didn't mean to go there until later, but meh, we did it. So my first idea for you today, I've got 3 topics to cover that I hope you will be able to utilize and to implement this week. And then also I'm going to share how you can really dive into them deeper. So we've got some live events coming up inside the membership. I'm also starting our pre-pod club in the garden party. So this is like a kind of taster version of the Life Balance Studio. And my idea was that we could have an opening the book conversation and discussion. We will be looking at Not the End of the World. We'll be reading that together this month and looking at how we implement it. So we're going to have a 30-minute discussion in the garden party this Thursday. So I'll put the link for you to sign up in the show notes. So 3 topics today. 1, asking the right questions. 2, having it all, what that means to us. And 3, your unique life balance practice. Now, asking the right questions. This is something that came to me, I mean, multiple times, right? I constantly think about this because this is coaching. Coaching is noticing where you have something that you don't want, you want to change, realizing that that is a result of past decisions and past thoughts that led to those decisions, okay? And then redirecting your brain to what you do want and how it might be possible to get it. Okay. So a really classic example I thought about is people who want to wake up at 5 a.m. and people who want to have orgasms. Okay. Now, with both of these things, when we're asking, how do I wake up at 5 a.m. or how do I have an orgasm? Your focus is in the wrong place, right? I love these, like just the similarity in these two things. I just think they're amazing. When I coach people, a lot of people think that if they can wake up at 5 a.m., their lives will be magically different. Okay. They really think that, they'll be disciplined, they will have the finances, they'll have the wellness routine, the fitness routine, the energy, like everything will be different if they can just wake up at 5 a.m. Because that is what's sold to us, right? And ditto in alignment with that, if we stick with this orgasm example, if you listen to, there's a podcast that I love by a coach called Danielle Savory. It's My Pleasure. And she does a lot about like neuroscience and pleasure. So people get so obsessed with like orgasm being the end goal that number one, they can't get to it because their brain is like, oh, I've got to get there, got to get there. And number two, they miss out on the purpose of it, which is joy and connection. And so they're not having all of these other experiences, connection with themselves, connection with their partner, that really make up the journey. And that can be the goal in itself. Okay. So we are sold both of these concepts by society as them being the point, right? You wake up at 5 a.m., everything will be amazing. You want to be connected to your partner, you want to be successful in pleasure, have an orgasm, right? But what happens when instead we ask a different question? So, something that I do with my coaching clients with the 5 a.m. wake up thing is we look at, and I'm just going to call it like a thing, right? It's a thing, it's very heavy, it's in society. What happens when instead we redirect the question and we say, okay, what if it's easy to wake up at 5 a.m. if I get 8 hours sleep, right? Can we agree that people who wake up at 5 a.m. and they're focused and energized during the day and they have luminous skin and they're rested and they're present and they're calm, rather than they wake up after 4 hours sleep, drink coffee all day, feel grumpy, feel exhausted, which is what happens to most people, right? What are they doing differently? They're going to sleep at 9 p.m. So the question is, how do I create a bedtime ritual where I go to sleep at 9 p.m. and then I wake up at 5 a.m. naturally, right? That is all I need to focus on. The right question is not how do I wake up at 5 a.m. The right question is how do I get to sleep at 9 p.m. Okay? So I hope you see the difference there. And what I would love for you to think about is a result somewhere in your life that you haven't been able to achieve yet, and ask yourself, how could you redirect the question? If you're focused here, what are you not seeing? What's the other end of it, right? This is where coaching is so helpful in getting coached because we all have these blind spots. We're all focused on the obvious thing, right? Which remember, our brain's motivation is to save energy, not do things that are difficult, not do risky things. So, of course, our brain puts us there, right? Oh, just wake up at 5 a.m., even though I'm never going to wake up at 5 a.m., but we'll just keep our focus there, right? Versus, wait a minute, someone who goes to sleep at 9 p.m. and they love going to sleep at 9 p.m., what decisions do they take? What are they doing, right? And I'll give you a really simple example. The decision was kind of made for me. It is extremely dark where I live in the evenings, and we don't have street lights because they're saving energy and, perfect, great. What that means is when I'm walking my dog Rita, it suddenly becomes quite stressful. She gets very nervous in the dark, she doesn't like it. So I realized, okay, if I'm going to shift everything earlier, um, and make sure that I've done everything that I want to do by 6 p.m. when it gets dark, what do I want to move in my day? So I moved my yoga class, I moved the dog walk, then I moved my calls. And little by little, it got to the point where I had such a fun, fulfilling day that like everything was done. By 6 p.m., I was like, well, I've read my book, I've had my French lesson, I've done my work. Maybe I'll go to sleep. Right? And because I was going to sleep, I suddenly started waking up at 5 a.m. before my alarm. Before my alarm. Now, if I tried to wake up at 5 a.m., it wouldn't happen. I would be like stealing from time during the day. So I just want to show you like how we can get different results from refocusing. Now, the second topic I want to talk to you about today is this concept of having it all. So the whole point, the whole purpose of the Life Atelier is for us to have ambition, realize our ambitions, but create them from this energy of joy, of feeling connection, of feeling expansion, of like being present in our lives. And for me, that really is having it all. Okay, getting to experience the full human experience day in, day out. Now, you will hear a lot of people talk about, how life is always 50. I hear so many coaches say this, like life is 50-50, 50% good, 50% bad. And I just don't agree with that, right? I think life could be 90% good, 10% bad. Okay, we are still going to suffer. We are still going to experience complications. Life is going to happen. But you can build a life where you feel joyful, connected. You just feel like you love your life, right? You love being alive 90% of the time. There are different things that we can do to tweak that. But the first concept that I want to offer you is just this idea that we have never had it all. Okay. When people talk about success, when people talk about having it all, it doesn't exist. This is why the goalposts constantly get moved, right? If you have achieved a goal in the past, you've got a promotion, you've, got that relationship that you dreamed of, you've moved to the city, and then suddenly you've had this like empty feeling afterwards. That's because the goalpost moved. The moment you achieved it, the goalpost moved. Now, when we're just constantly looking on the future, and in fact, I'm going to show you now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see I'm holding up a picture. No, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'll let you know I'm holding up a picture for the YouTube video, which is of, blah, I know, which is of our book this month, Not the End of the World, How to Be the First Generation to Build a Sustainable Planet. Now, I love this, okay, because in the very first chapter, what she does is she explains that the world has never been sustainable, okay? And she says it's an unpopular truth. What we want to achieve has never been done before, okay? So she says that in the past, right, when we look at definitions of sustainability, previous generations did not have a good and healthy life, okay? So we weren't using more resources than the planet was able to provide, but we were all dying early. Women, we were dying in childbirth all the time. Disease, war, like it was not so fun, okay? And now we've got this other half of it where we are living good lives. For the majority of people, when you look at the data, we are living much more fulfilling, much more healthy, safe lives, longer, okay? But we're using up more resources than the planet can give us, than the planet can afford. So what we're trying to do is something completely new, right? And that's great, okay? Because as the book shows, we have all of the tools, we have everything that we need to do it. And it gets to be an upgrade. This is what I love about sustainability, is it gets to be an upgrade. Now, when we look at life balance and this idea of having it all, I think historically having it all has looked like a very kind of capitalist thing. And, it's, well, you have this certain type of house, and then you have this degree, and then you have, this many children, the Labrador, and what's happening is people are doing all those things, they're exhausted. Okay, it's coming at a cost to their energy levels, their happiness, their joy, their authenticity, right? This is massive. Okay, we talked about it last week, but when you are not living authentically, there is an enormous energy drain just on trying to blend in with what we think is authenticity. So, what I want to invite you to think about, number one, is to think about what does having it all mean to you? And if you're listening to this or you're watching it, just pause. Journal, write out a couple of sentences, think about it, just talk out loud. Like, what does it mean? Okay. For me, because obviously I asked myself this question, having it all is about balance, and it is about feeling enoughness. It is about enjoying where I am, not resisting where I am. Right now I'm in the suburbs outside of Toulouse. Is this where I want to be long term? No. Can I appreciate the beauty of my view? The fact that I have a much bigger apartment than I would have for the same cost in Toulouse, the safety that I have from having a lovely landlady? Yes, I can. Can I also be excited about the future that I'm actively building? Yes, right? So for me, that's balance, right? And that is having it all, appreciating, savoring, being present with what you have, actively creating memories each day, remembering them, building your self trust, building your relationships, investing in yourself, and also knowing that you can create something truly astonishing in the future and that you are already achieving it. You are already creating it. Okay. So once we've had that definition, we've created that definition for ourselves, then we want to think about how we hold those two things, how we hold that balance. And this is something that I think we miss sometimes. The beauty of coaching is that active managing your mind. And it's even, I'll be honest, it's even something where sometimes I underestimate just how powerful it is until I get coached or I see someone get coached and I watch their whole world change. Okay. And it is literally, it's like they've been sort of walking around, like trying to do things with their eyes covered. And then suddenly they're like, oh, this is easier, right? Oh, this is easier. Just the same as we talked about, when people are focusing on the end goal, whether that's the 5 a.m. start or the orgasm, instead of focusing on holding that duality of allowing it to be possible, but also just focusing on the present and the journey, okay, and the magic that creates and the space that that creates. So once you have created that, then we want to think about how you create your version of life balance, your unique life balance practice. Now, this is what we're doing in the Life Atelier. We're doing in 3 Day Week Club. Oh, yeah, I never finished. So, 3 Day Week Club. 3 Day Week Club is actually going to hinge around this alchemy concept where we are meeting. My idea is I do it with in-person group in Toulouse, and I thought, hey, why didn't I do it with my community? So each Friday, I think it's going to be Friday, just because it's easy, Friday for Alchemy, we're going to get together. We are going to pick something that we are terrified, we are scared of doing, decide how we're going to do it together, right? So we'll be on, it'll be like a mix of co-working and coaching and doing, and then we're going to celebrate and evaluate. So we're going to create that Falcony magic together on the call, the first 3 Fridays of each month, right? Falcony Fridays. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. So, anywho, for the rest of us and our alchemists, coming back to this life balance practice. So, we're going to talk about it on the call this Tuesday. And what are the components that you want to prioritize to create your own life balance practice? Usually, we pick something for your mind, something for your body, and then something for your project. So we're moving your project forward at the same time as we are increasing your capacity to problem solve and to bring it to life by looking after your body, looking after your mind. There are a few things that we can think about here. The first is the first coaching tool, separating what is true from what is a story. And you will usually notice something is a story, it's not true, if it's in your past. Okay, so if the words that you hear when you think about, okay, let's say you set yourself a goal, right? I think about this time last year, I was just starting to think about like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to move to France. I think my Irish passport arrived this week or last week, I'm not sure. And I started to book that trip to Toulouse to come and check out Toulouse. Okay. And so the story that could have existed, or the story that was one possible thing for me to keep in my head and allow it to dictate what I was doing, was you failed. Last time you tried to move to France, it didn't work out, right? You came back with your tail between your legs. Another story is this time is going to be so much easier, right? Because I've already done it, right? And this time I'm doing it with my Irish passport. And this time I'm doing it with the experience of having already lived in France for a period of time. And this time I've got a whole year of experience behind me. I am already so much closer to this. Now, that is obviously the story that I chose to repeat that I chose to actively redirect my brain to. And I want you to think about right now when you imagine maybe you're considering joining 3 Day Week Club, maybe you're considering getting back into the dating game, maybe you're thinking about ending a relationship and learning to live on your own. Okay. All these things cost energy. But as I said last week, it also costs energy not to do them, right? Choose your hard. Choose your hard. Okay. So, whatever story that you have, whatever is telling you that it's not possible, ask yourself, what is also true? Okay. What is also possible? If it's possible and my brain is telling me it's possible, I can't do this. If it is possible, I can do this, how might I do that? What resources, what reserves do I have that I can draw upon? You know, I really want to bring up the jar of tuna story, but I won't. Okay, so just notice that. Second thing we want to do, recognize the power of your mind. Okay, this is our second step in the life balance practice. Okay, number one, we create space, right? If we have allowed that it's not possible, we also create space for the fact that it might be possible. Number two, invest in ourselves. Just pause to think about how powerful your mind is, not because you're a special snowflake, but because it is a human brain, right? I will use this example again and again. Just like my dog Rita has a nose that can sniff out a crisp 2 houses away if she needed it, you have a human brain that has unlimited potential. It's just you haven't been using it to do the things that will get you to where you want to go. Okay? Now you're learning how to do that. You do not need to be special. We're all special and we're all not special. Okay? Use whichever one feels more motivating for you. For me, it was like, okay, great. Yeah, I have a human brain. A human brain solves problems. This is just a problem to solve. Okay? Number three, start taking decisions and action steps that are balanced with trust. This is the kind of empty space or the void, right, that is often there between where you want to be and where you are. There is that starting to sense or starting to vocalize the thing that you want. There is where you are. And it can feel like there is a chasm or a void that you can't cross. Now, what I want to really share with you is the way to bridge that is trust. Trust that it's possible. Trust that you are able to do just the next smallest little step. Trust that you will solve problems as they come up. Trust that other people will support you. Trust is just as active as managing your mind, right? Just as active as life balance. And sometimes we need to be much more active and give more energy to active trust. And other times it's easy, right? We've already invested in the trust. So depending on where you are on your journey of self-trust and trust in those around you, and depending on where you are and how big the goals are that you're setting, right? I've updated the mission of the Life Atelier to supporting women in having it all because I got coached this week. And the thing that was reflected back to me was we're not dreaming big enough, right? We need enormous dreams to motivate us to jump over the hurdles. And so for me, when I thought about, okay, if I was really being honest about what I want to do and how I want to help, it is, I want to show people that it is possible to have it all and that it is an upgrade and that it is amazing, right? Just like sustainability and having a really sustainable world has never been done before and it's possible. I want to show you how having it all is possible, even if it hasn't been done before, and how much fun that is, okay? And how much active trust that takes. That is the fun, that is the joy. So, gorgeous humans, what do I need to share with you before I finish? Okay, a few things. I'm doing a three at the camera. First off, if you haven't yet used it, we have the Joyful Life Balance Starter Kit, and you can access that inside the Garden Party, which is the free bit of the Life Atelier. I will also put it on my website, I think, so that you can just go to the website. Then we have got our opening workshop for Unstoppable Autumn inside the Life Atelier. You can become a member from €97 a month. super cheap. Why wouldn't you? It's going to be amazing. So that is this Tuesday, and we will be outlining your project. And then you're going to be working on that for 21 days through November, using and building your own life balance practice, okay? Your unique life balance practice. Third thing, I've got applications, I've got questions about 3 Day Week Club. When I say applications, it makes it sound very serious. It's also super affordable. It is super affordable because I am on a mission to get more of us deconstructing the way that we work so that we can spend more time in nature, so that we can spend more time connecting with connection. And so what I want to do is really work with a group of you in the beginning, get you into it, get it integrated 100% so that it is now like there is no other way of working, right? Which is where I've got to. And then as we bring more people in, we've got that foundation of this is the water we swim in. This is what is normal now, so that it's easier for them as well. So this group will be probably the closest that we ever work, because after that, we're just going to grow and grow and grow. So, beautiful humans, everything will be in the show notes, under this on YouTube, wherever you see it. If you've got questions, DM me, email me, IG, DM me, whatever. Enjoy your Sunday.